Oh, yes, back.
Oh my gosh, finally.
Silliest thing you've ever done.
You know, when you have something over your mouth, it's really hard to hear.
The question is, what is the silliest thing we've ever done?
Tangled stars.
There are these lanolin-soaked fleeces. we were recording. I'm going to let you in on a secret. All right, this is a private joke you are now all a part of. That nice man right there behind you, wave to the nice people, is Scott C. Brown, a very good friend of ours. He's doing the voice of my audiobook, and we were talking about, I mean, the character is a farm girl. She throws bales and shears sheep and tosses around lanolin-soaked fleeces. And he accidentally said, lanolin-soaked feet. And
Feces.
And we couldn't stop laughing. I had to get kicked out of the room because he recovered after about 20 minutes. He recovered and got it down, and I ruined it by laughing, and I couldn't stop. So now you're all part of this. So when we sell t-shirts that say lanolin fleeces with an L, you know why you want one.
Oh, one of my things is the audiobook that we did. I had a line where I should have said the cavalry was coming, but instead I was talking about Calvary. Jesus had suddenly come into the
Silliest thing I've ever done? Where to begin? Actually, the silliest thing that I think I've ever done is when I was on MTV, and I was on Say What Karaoke back in 1996. Whoa. And I remember I had to spin the Wheel of Death, and I had to sing Avril Lavigne's Complicated at the time. And I sang it, instead of singing it in my range, I sang it in her range. And so, to like the world, I sang, there's gotta be a clip somewhere. There has to be, because it was recorded. And Daniel Fishel and Aaron Carter were there. Daniel Fishel played Topanga on Boy Meets World. Anyway, so they were there and they were just laughing their butts off because I was singing and kicking up my feet and everything like a cheerleader while I sang it. No joke, it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. And Aaron, Keenan from All That, Keenan, the one guy, yeah, from All That, yeah, you guys know. From All That, he gave me a 10. He was like, that was just, he's like, I don't have words that I can say on public television to describe how I'm feeling right now and how funny that was. So I thought that was pretty silly.
The list is far, far too long for me to pick one thing that was the silliest I ever did. But one of the silliest things I ever did was to say yes when Sonny Strait asked me if I wanted to hear him do Donald Duck having sex. Sonny and Sean Schemmel were in the back seat. Richard was driving. We were going to dinner in Hollywood. And I said yes. And Richard nearly drove into a telephone. I can't imitate it to save my life, but you have to imagine Sonny Strait doing Donald Duck having sex.
If you want to hear it, we've got a phone.
This is kind of fun, okay? You know, God, my silly started at birth, so it's really, really, really hard to choose one, but I was like, but at a con, I think the silliest thing I've ever done was one year at NondesCon in Denver. Me and a bunch of the other guests, they had that long charity auction at the end, and this one kind of when it went into its third hour, we were so bored out of our minds back there. There was a water station, and they had a bunch of styrofoam cups. So I started pulling apart the styrofoam cups, and I took a Sharpie, so I made like snake eyes and teeth and stuff, and I made weird prints. We all made weird faces, and we were taking pictures of each other. Now, what we didn't realize, we were having so much fun doing that, they were actually calling our names, and people were turning around, and when I looked at, they called my name, and I turned around, I had these snake bands, and that was the picture they wanted to put on my badge the next year, because the photographer was like right here in Kata, so that was pretty silly.
But to me, silly means like embarrassing, and it's almost impossible to embarrass me, much to my wife's chagrin. Because when she tries, I just turn it and make her more embarrassed. But one of the only times I was embarrassed, I was a senior in high school, and the guy who, in Texas, football is king. And so the guy who normally called the football game was sick, so they asked me, because I was an actor, and I did the announcements, they figured I could do it. And I had a guy telling me what to say, and so it's a crowd of like 7,000 people, and Jimmy Smith down on the 23-yard line. Turnover, and I'm saying stuff like that. But I didn't know football at all, so football it goes from 0 to 50 back down to 0. But I had just been like, okay, there's the 40, and then 5 is 45, and there's the 50, and then I called someone down on the 55-yard line. And I had 7,000 people turn around and go, what?
You poor thing.
I'm not sure what mine would be either, but I guess most of my work has been done in Japan, and of course I'm sure a lot of you know about the whole English thing. Japanese have problems with R's and L's many times, and I've had some beauty scripts that I've had to read from. There was this one. It was a TV show, and it was like actually a very, very popular show in Japan. This was probably about 15 years ago. And there was a group of us, non-Japanese, or gaijin as we're called. And we were all there, and usually what happens when you have a group of people, some of them speak Japanese, some of them don't. So, of course, the ones that speak Japanese have to do the interpreting. Well, this was a huge group. So we actually had a designated interpreter who was Japanese, and he had a really bad problem with R and L situation. And so he was explaining what the director wanted, and he's like, okay, everybody, we want you to crap at once. 1, 2, 3, crap! And we all just start laughing, and it kept getting worse and worse, because he was like, no, we want you to crap together. You need to crap harder. And it just kept, and poor guy, I'm sure he'll never interpret for anyone ever again. It was just like, it was a group of probably about 50, gaijin, and yeah, it just kept going on. So that's one of my favorite English experiences. If you want to know any English experiences, come and talk to me.
You should crap for her.
It's all of that.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. And what's worse, what if somebody listened? Together now.
We need to hear you crapping.
We need this gig, come on.
Well, depending what you say to an audience full of fans, they do it sometimes.
Okay, lead us off with the beat.
I need to breathe. I should do more. No, okay, speaking of that, beatboxing, that's my new thing, yeah. Speaking of that, I had a friend who, he's a drummer and I'm a beatboxer, so we would experiment with beats with each other, and I came up with a beat that I hate doing, but everyone apparently loves hearing, that I hope I don't offend anyone here, that I like to call the retarded beatbox, which is, I know everyone's gonna hate me after doing this, but like, which is like, so, yeah, see that? It's baboon beatbox, there we go.
Yeah, good baboon. What? A baboon beatbox. That's
I'm done.
because of the beatbox.
Alright, so I really can't remember anything about my doing anything intentionally. Mostly silly things just happen to me, just in general. One of them happened when I used to work at a car wash. Apparently, when you use acid, you should actually, think about getting some hand sanitizer. Because I had my pants disintegrate right in front of the customer. How are you doing today? Welcome to the car wash, and why do I feel a breeze? The worst is that I can't find those pants, so I don't have any proof.
What's worse is someone comes in and they're seeing like their pants dissolving.
What's worse is it wasn't
Rapidly dissolving.
That happened to me with the coat. Like, no joke, in New York, I was going to the airport, and my coat, it went through the X-ray machine. It was the first time they had done it. And right then, as soon as they like shot me full of photons and radioactivity, whatever, so I became superhero. My coat, it started flaking off and falling apart. I didn't notice because some guy went, buddy, your coat, it's dissolving. You got what's going on? That's creepy, dude. Take off your coat. I think you've got some weird corrosive material on it. I didn't know what happened. I was laughing so hard because the other guy, like the sleeve was ripping off. It was horrible. So what really are you being shot with?